Hello everyone, I'm Xiaoning Zhu. Today I will analyze the relationship between urban form and transportation network of Alexander Canal. Firstly, I pay respect to all Gadigal elders and First Nations people of these lands. Always was, always will be original land. Here's a table of content, so let's start from introduction. The Alexander Canal is a heritage site in New South Wales that needs to be protected, but its evaluation is not entirely positive. A planning document criticizes that its existence determines the planning of the area, including street layout and the positioning of surrounding industrial buildings. This report aims to deduce the urban and transportation development history of a part of the Alexander Canal based on the historical maps and understand the reasons for the formation of urban forms in the region. The theoretical framework of this article is based on the relationship framework between transportation and urban form. The research has found that the relationship between these two things they determine each other. Even if the land use pattern remains unchanged, changes in accessibility can still lead to changes in local mobility behavior. Firstly, here's a historical review. At the first stage, the establishment of canal is to achieve efficient and low-cost waterway transportation. Therefore, the accessibility of factories on the riverbank is the highest. The canal has shaped the industrial zone and the first layer of road network along the river. Then the canal is silted up and can no longer be transported by water, combined with the transformation of surrounding farmland into residential areas for development. The accessibility of industrial areas continues to decrease. Finally, the city continues to develop, and more connections are needed on both sides of the canal. So the selection of the site is located within the mascot, which includes the early factory forms built along the canal. The second-level factories established during the midterm industrial development, and the newly built apartment and residential buildings in the area that have developed to this day. In the previous assignments, through on-site investigation, we walked through a carefully designed cycling corridor along the canal in Section A and felt a strong sense of place. Then, in Section B of the canal, it may have been difficult to reach along the canal due to the density of industrial facilities. Now, let's analyze the building form of the selected area. The building form and function here are closely related to the length of the canal. As the distance from the canal increases, the length of the blocks becomes shorter and more refined. The building form is more suitable for living. These are some sections views of building interface, which shows that as the distance from the canal increases, the space at the junction gradually decreases. The design of neighborhood and buildings tend to be compact. It is noteworthy that the popular open space in the selected area are also located far from the canal and around the apartment building. There are only a small portion of unpopular open space in the area near the canal. So I believe that it was the canal as an earlier mode of transportation that determined the form and build functions of the neighborhood along its banks. With subsequent development, the accessibility of industrial areas along the canal gradually declined, resulting in changes in crowd activity and mobility. Walking at the end of the canal, the sound of factories around me seemed to remind me that this place once provided a large number of job opportunities and produced a large amount of materials for the urban construction of Sydney. But when I looked down at the canal surface and the dirty and messy canal shallows, I saw the enormous pressure that industrial production had brought to the ecological environment. This is a problem that humanity must always face. Looking back at some recent planning background, it can be seen that the government is making effort to improve the current situation of Alexander Canal. Early planning was dedicated to protecting the canal. With the development of cities, industrial areas along the canal may have to be demolished and rebuilt. As new highways and bridges cross the canal, accessibility here will undergo significant changes. Therefore, perhaps in the future, the neighborhood where these factories are located will be replaced by highly compact urban buildings. Thanks for listening.